You've probably seen a bunch of different strategy videos on YouTube and back tested them to wonder how they work, and some of them probably haven't worked for you. And I completely get it, because 9 years ago I was completely in the same spot as you. Looking for different strategies and trying to understand how they work and practicing them and not really finding that edge in the market. So that's why I decided to make this video, to help you guys understand how to backtest a strategy. Because what we're gonna do in this video is break down one strategy simply and show you guys how to backtest properly, one strategy at a time. This type of value and information is only available inside of my inner circle, but today I'm gonna be showing you guys how to do this to level up your trading journey. Backtesting involves going back on your charts, studying and testing your strategy and seeing if it would have worked. It gives you more confidence and it helps train your eye on the charts. It's basically like a trader's homework, and it's our way of studying the charts and getting more efficient on what we know and how to perform in these markets. So I'm gonna show you guys real quick, a quick example of how I always like to backtest my charts. I would like to take a starting point to a finishing point, and how I would always usually do that is starting with the weeks, where the week finishes and where the week starts. So I would section out my chart from week to week, where it begins and where it finishes, and I would backtest my weeks. I did this for years and years and years and still do this. There's a cool little indicator on TradingView called Weekend, Saturday, and Sunday that you can put on your chart that will just highlight where the Sunday to Sunday is. So from here to here is Sunday to Sunday. So one of the things I always like to do when I was backtesting was just take a section of my chart and start there. Whether it was something in the past like way over here and just go way to the left, I would always take a piece of the chart and just go from point to point and then kind of start from there and get an idea of, okay, this is 1 week, this is another week, what did the market do this week, what did the market do that week, what did the market do the following week, and just kind of study the different weeks as well inside of my backtesting strategy. Now, going inside of those weeks, I would kind of break down the days. So TradingView is pretty cool. It has this settings thing here that we could put session breaks on. It breaks down the days. Now, this is very, very helpful because it can give you an idea of how much movement there actually is in a week or in a day, right? You might see your strategy maybe happen once a day, or maybe not even every single day you will see your strategy, right? This was really helpful for me in my beginning stages of backtesting and kind of studying the chart, was kind of sectioning things off and taking, a week and then maybe breaking it down in the days. And that's gonna be more important in probably our second video of backtesting, right? Because this is backtesting video number 1, and we're probably gonna have a few videos on backtesting. So make sure you guys take notes and remember this. Basically, you can go on any point of the chart and backtest your strategy or anything in the market. This was just a little helpful tip that I wanted to show you guys that I always did in the beginning and still do. So when it comes down to backtesting, you want to pick your pair that you're mainly going to focus on, the main thing you trade. You guys know that follow me on the YouTube, we primarily focus on gold. And we talk a lot about the whole numbers. I like gold because it's really simple to focus on these two things with, whole numbers and break and retest. Break and retest, as simple as it is, gold does it a lot on different time frames. So that's the strategy we're gonna be focusing on, is kind of like whole numbers with break and retest, or break and retest with whole numbers. And then you can focus on any time frame really, but we're gonna choose like the 15-minute, the 5-minute charts, mainly some of our smaller time frames like the 30-minute. So when it comes down to backtesting, pick your pair, pick your strategy, pick a time frame that you're mainly gonna focus on, as if you were gonna trade that fits your style. So all I'm gonna look for is break and retest first. I'm not even gonna start off with the whole numbers. I'm gonna look week by week and see if I can find any break and retests in here. It's gonna be that simple. So I'm keeping this at level 1 for you guys watching this video. I'm not going into level 5 on this video. This is level 1 backtesting, okay? So I'm literally looking for any break and retest that I can see. So what is a break and retest? That's when a support turns into a resistance. So there's a break and retest number 1 that I can see on this chart, where there's a support that turned into a resistance. Now, I'm not even talking about whole numbers or anything. There's just 1. So that's on this week. That I could see was in that week where the market formed a support here. It broke under the support. It ended up accumulating back up to the support, rejected that support, it ends up trading down. So imagine taking a trade there, nice rejection candles there, which we talk about a lot. I bet you this is at a whole number. I can kind of already tell it is. If we were to put a whole number on the chart, notice how it's right around 33.25 there as well. So I could have been entering at 33.25, whole number, rejection. One clean setup there that could have offered a pretty good target if I was targeting these lows down here or holding till the next day. But this thing ran quite a bit. Now, there might be more break and retests. There's one. I could see another one right here. The reason we like gold is because it's actually simple to focus on a simple concept like break and retest. Break and retest is a simple concept. When you look at a lot of other things, it doesn't always work on. And gold will do this a lot, especially around the whole numbers. If we look right here, here's a break and retest on gold. So we're looking for basically a resistance that turns into a support, or a structure that identified as like bearish that flips into like more bullish. So that's when the price goes above a resistance or below a support. In this case, we can see there's resistance here. If we mark price, where that resistance is, I have like 3305, 3300 area. So I could see there's resistance around this 3300, 3305, nice rejection. Market breaks above that resistance. So this is what we would call also a good structure shift. If we're looking for a pattern, there's a nice pattern here. Some of you guys might be familiar with head and shoulders or accumulations. That's what we can see here. We're looking for break and retests here on gold in this week. That's all I'm looking for. I'm literally just looking for any break and retests that I can see. So I'm gonna identify any clear ones that I can see. I could simulate this as well. I could start the week at replay mode and go throughout the week, right? I could even start replay mode, say at the beginning of the week, take all the drawings off and simulate that entire week going forward and see throughout that week if I see any break and retests as the candles print one by one. When you get more advanced, you may want to start to do things like this. Maybe when you get more advanced and more experience on the chart, right? Backtesting in itself, I'm going to give you a few tips by the end of this, can be just at the end of the day. Like you could go to your chart at the end of the day when you're not so busy, when you have some free time, and just see what happened during the day, or see what if your strategy was there during the day. So depending on how fast you want to make this, let's go faster. Trading view, there we go. You could simulate the whole entire week, and if you get to like a pro level, a more experienced level, this may be things that you might find more entertainment in doing and more craftsmanship in your studying to refine your skills, right? So a cool feature on replay, so you can see there's support here. We already know that level is going to be like a break and retest, but for example here, there's no break and retest yet, except we have that support there that the market formed. So this is like a simulation of price. Now I'm looking for break and retests, and we know there's going to be one here because we already went through that, right? But I just see one right now. So for example, if I pause this and I look in here, I can see one right here, just one right there. So if I line it up, 3,300 again. So there's 3,300. So there's one right there. That's a break and retest. We already know the market's gonna go up to here and there's support, but you can see that level creates multiple breaks and retests on it. So now if we're looking at the chart here, some of this price has gone by. There was one break and retest up here where we can see market had this support, broke, retested, comes down. We could see one in here. So when we're looking back at like the idea of would you have taken a trade here, this is training our eyes. We could see a break and retest here in a good area to take a trade when we're looking at our strategy. If we're looking to line things up, break and retest, resistance turns into support. Again, if you guys are on the YouTube, this is a lot of the stuff that I teach about. If we're looking at gold right here, what do you see right here? Resistance, turn into support, resistance, turn into support. So just right there, just in the same price action, there's two, break above, retest. So just in this week, if we simulate this whole week and let it go by, and we were to look, there's a few break and retests. It doesn't need to be a lot, right? This is one strategy that involves, again, looking for a break and retest in the week. We're on a 15-minute time frame right now. All right, how many break and retests do you see in this week? It doesn't need to be 10, it doesn't need to be 20, but we could see one here. And we're not even talking about the whole numbers yet, because most of these now, when we're looking for entry points, are probably going to be located around those whole numbers, right? If we look at 3,300, for example, 3,300 is a very psychological number. Notice there's some support reactions around it, resistance reactions around it, that take us up, that take us up. And then even underneath it, there's a small break and retest here. One thing is also when you're trading, like this is obviously simulation, like we're looking back. This is like looking at things in hindsight, right? So if you're looking at break and retest, there was a good trade here for gold on sells. If we're looking at another trading opportunity here, good opportunity for buys. If you're looking down here, you have a good buying opportunity. Just based on one thing. So throughout our backtesting videos, because remember, this is just level 1 backtesting to help you guys understand what we do with backtesting, because I could spend a much longer time and go to level 2, level 3, level 4 for this. It's just showing you we can take one thing. All I've taken right now is break and retest. I'm not contributing anything else. All I've done is I've taken the week. So I took from Sunday to Sunday, right? 15-minute chart, gold, break and retest. That's what I'm looking for. I'm gonna see it as many times as I can see it, or as many times as it was maybe there. Maybe I'm not spotting every single little break and retest that there is on this chart. Maybe there's a few that I haven't been able to identify that I may be able to use the line chart to help me use as well. So I'll show you guys another little helpful tool here as well. But some possible entries here just based on one thing. We can backtest, we can do our homework basically on anything. I could do backtesting on trend lines, counter trend lines, right? I could do backtesting on Fibonacci. I could do backtesting on market timing, or some of the strategies that I teach inside of my inner circle, or a lot of times on my live YouTube sessions. If you've ever been on my live YouTube sessions, there's a lot of strategies and things that I talk about on those sessions as well. What I'm looking at on the chart here is just one thing, talking about break and retest, right? So if we look at gold, how many clear break and retests do we see on this chart, right? Last week, we're looking at a week ago here on the chart. Not a whole lot, but maybe enough to find a couple of trades. There's even one here. If you're looking at this support, what does the market do? It breaks underneath the support and it turns into a resistance. If you go to the line chart, right, and you're looking at some of these points, again, more breaks and retests. One simple strategy, not everything, right? We can backtest more things and even add more layers onto some of the stuff we're even seeing here, like market timing, time of the day. There's better things we can backtest than just simply going to the chart and looking for break and retests. Like we could even look at this week. Let's do this week for an example. Let's see the week that's starting off right now and see if we see any break and retests, right? So again, just at the start of the week, look how the market opened up. Right there, break and retest. Simple concept, one concept, not everything, right? Now, the week's already began and we can see the price has progressed up. So what can I see right here? Break and retest. So we actually got one so far this week. Kind of two, because this started, yes, two so far this week. You could see literally one down here. If I was still holding that trade, or if any of us were in that trade, that could be a very profitable trade, depending on where your stop loss was. Typically in a break and retest situation, I'll put my stop loss below the previous low. So if we go look back at some examples, like here, there's a good break and retest on gold. Why is that a good break and retest, guys? Well, let's study it, right? What does the market structure do? It goes up and makes a higher high. This should be familiar for a lot of you guys watching this, right? Market structure shift, break and retest. I'm not even talking about the whole number. If we put a whole number there, we got 30, we got 65, 70 area. So we got good whole numbers as well that we could have lined up for entry, but good entry zone based on just the technical analysis, not even looking at the whole number, right? We can contribute the whole number and say, okay, is there a whole number here? We don't even have to, but we can, right? 3270, 3265. Nice whole number reaction. I typically like to put my stop loss when it comes down to a break and retest at the previous low, behind me. So if I'm on a 15-minute chart, it's gonna be the most recent low on a 15-minute chart. That's where my stop loss is gonna go. When it comes down to it, the thing with gold is scalps can turn into swings. We'll typically target the most recent high or even breaks above the highs. You could see like this trade could have went on for quite a bit of time. And there was even a trade right after that one. There's two trades right in the same area, break and retest. One break and retest, here's another break and retest. back to back, 2 trades that involve the same concept. So as the market's going up, like what you can do in places like this, especially where the market's trending, so is simulate even as you go forward, right? So for instance, this goes up, makes a new high. You can always work forward and anticipate, okay, this is either gonna go up or maybe we're gonna get a break down instead, back to the next level. So you could always simulate moving forward and work in with that price. Like look what happened, there's a break and retest going up right here. So you literally have 1 break and retest, 2 break and retest. And then this never came back, and again, you have another break and retest. So as you see this goes up further, you could kind of create those zones even along the way and anticipate potentially break and retest along the way up. Now, if you look at this one last time, look at this week, starting off where the yellow is, the yellow Sunday. Remember at the beginning of the video, I hope you guys are taking notes. Beginning of the video, the yellow, that's Sunday. So one of the little tips I gave you guys was to kind of pick a section on the chart. I like to start from week open to week close. So I'm back testing the week, right? So if I'm looking at this week, can I see break and retest this week? I kind of see 2, maybe 3 actually. I might be giving us one right now actually, if you look at the chart right now, when we're looking at break and retest, right? Here and here. So this is part 1, guys, on backtesting, what backtesting is, some little tips and helpful information on how to do it. So remember this, guys, the goal is to train your eyes and your discipline, not to chase every single setup. So hopefully this video added some value and helped you guys understanding how to backtest a bit more at a level 1 basics. If you guys want access to a real community with real value and access to me on a daily basis and strategies and indicators and tools that can help level up your trading journey, make sure you join my inner circle today, where you can catch me live every single day providing you valuable lessons just like this one. If you guys want to see more videos just like this one, remember to like and comment on this video, and I will see you guys on the next video.